Welcome to Shrouded Realities. Today you're going to learn where Santa Claus comes from. Kinda.
Kind of?
Kind of?
I mean, not really.
Not really.
We're actually not even discussing that at all.
So what I'm doing there is like shocking people because it's nothing to do with what's in the title. So they're like, did I click on the wrong thing right now?
Yeah,
Be like,
that's how you do it. Deception.
yeah, deception. Trick the listeners. Gotcha.
Lying. It always works.
We might have a little bit of deception that we're discussing in this episode.
We are discussing some
There is some
deception.
deception in this.
Because what happened at the Council of Nicaea is highly
That Santa
debated.
Claus happened to be at. There's the hook.
There's
Got
the
it.
hook. See, I told you,
Yep.
Santa Claus. We just found out where Santa Claus came from.
Well, there's more to that story. Than that, but yeah.
There
you're
it is.
right. I'm
He
with
just
you.
happened to be there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yep.
I guess that's where it
That
comes
and-
from.
I think he was invited
Rudolph.
by
I think everybody
Constantine.
was invited.
Yeah. Constantine was really trying to nail down what was going on there.
Yeah.
He was trying to pick the books of the Bible.
Ooh, he changed.
Crush.
He made Christianity what it is.
He made it what it is today.
Nope. Not
Guess
really.
what? Because this is on the internet, we have to say that out loud. That
Yeah.
has nothing to do with that.
It's fake.
Yeah.
It's fake.
Yeah.
And the Da Vinci Code is not what happened.
Yeah, that's not extra biblical. No, sorry.
It's not biblical.
extra.
It
It's
is
not
ex-
biblical. It is extra. No,
Wait a minute.
hold up.
It's not. Has nothing to do with the Bible.
There you go.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a bomb.
Movie. It's just a stupid movie
Yeah, about a bomb.
with Tom Hanks with a
Yeah.
bad haircut.
Tom Hanks has nothing to do with this.
Yeah, they put glasses on him. Says you're a priest now.
Didn't he play Santa Claus once though?
He played a little everything. I don't think so though.
He was riding the Polar Express, so
There it is.
Yeah,
There's the connection.
Yeah, he's a
He was in that
train
polar-
conductor.
Was
he
it
was
the
a
same
train
voice
conductor.
Yeah,
That was Tom Hanks,
that's Tom Hanks.
no doubt.
You
though?
look
No, I
like-
mean, yeah. I mean, it was Tom Hanks, but did he play the Santa in that movie?
I don't
I
know,
don't think so.
but we all know what that train conductor represents. He
Yeah.
represents the essence of Santa Claus. He was created from Santa Claus. See what I did
I see
there?
what you did.
Ah.
Little Trinitarian
Yeah,
thoughts
little-
there.
Yeah.
No, that is Arianism thought.
There it is,
Because
yeah.
he was a created being.
I gotta admit, and Connor admitted it right before the show, when you sent, "Hey, let's discuss Arianism and the Council of Nicaea," I'm
You were-
like, what do the racist Nazi
Yeah.
master race has to do with anything biblical?
We're actually speaking of Arius, not
Yeah,
Arians.
not the Aryan race,
Yes.
but the Aryan belief,
Yes.
which stemmed from Arius, which was
Well, it goes further back than
What was his
Arius.
full name?
He was kind of it was so Roman,
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you.
Roman with Greek.
Yeah, it
Splashed with
was.
some salt and pepper.
Hey, and if y'all are looking for like, this is what this person's name was, and this was the history of it, you're in the wrong show for
dude,
that.
There's plenty of
There's
experts out
plenty
there.
of that there. I am not your boy.
Well,
Yeah.
we gonna be talking about it.
Yeah.
Homoousius and some of that.
Homeo.
Have you not heard
No.
Homo
Homo
erectus?
erectus.
No,
No,
that's
that-
different. That's different.
Can't say that. Sorry.
Homoousius, and there's another ousius word that I don't know.
Is that Latin?
I think it's Greek,
Was
but yeah, that's
Yeah,
big
so
in this
that was like-
conversation.
That was like the post debate from what was plugged into the Nicene Creed, right?
Yeah, there's some of that, but it's part of the Nicene Creed. It's which we need to pull that up and probably read that, not
Okay.
in Greek.
Got it right here. You want to read it?
Go for it.
The Nicene Creed. All right. So this was one of the main reasons why the Council of Nicaea was formed, was to write this creed.
Yes,
One of the things. They
creeds
did.
were a big thing then. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
not saying that they aren't now. I mean, we have things that we believe. Creeds were obviously a big thing though then, of like, this is what we believe and this is why we believe it, and maybe we should get back to some of that now.
See anything like Assassin's Creed?
I think that's different.
Okay.
It's a solid early video game though.
yeah.
Or the
Xbox
movie.
360
You don't like the new
time.
ones?
No,
The new one's a decent.
Oh, first
those
one
are-
was GOAT.
Was it?
no. You
I
once
never
you
played
get
it.
past Assassin's Creed Revelation, it's over. They were. Some people would make the claim for Black Flag. I hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could have an entire podcast about video games if you wanted
Do you
to.
want to do one?
I could. I'm into them. So
I'm down.
yeah, Assassin's Creed and the history of it.
Let's read the Nicene Creed.
Let's get there.
I believe in one God, the Father Almighty, the maker of heaven and earth, all things visible and invisible. I believe in one Lord Jesus Christ, the only begotten Son of God, born of the Father before all ages, God from God, light from light, true God from true God, begotten, not made, Jeez, man, I should have pre-prepped this one. I'm going to skip that word.
Yep. It's probably not important.
It probably is. though.
Yeah, probably the linchpin of the whole thing.
It really is because
probably
it's
where it
setting up.
lands.
Yeah. Anyway, next line. Through him, all things were made for us men, for our salvation. He came down from heaven, and by the Holy Spirit was incarnate of the Virgin Mary. He became man. For our sake, he was crucified under Pontius Pilate. He suffered death and was buried and rose again on the third day in accordance with the Scriptures. He ascended unto heaven and is seated at the right hand of the Father. He will come again in glory to judge the living and the dead, and his kingdom will have no end. I believe in the Holy Spirit, the Lord, the giver of life, who proceeds from the Father and the Son, who with the Father and the Son is adored and glorified, who has spoken through the prophets. I only believe in one holy Catholic and apostolic church. I confess one baptism for the forgiveness of sins, and I look forward to the resurrection of the dead and the life of the world to come. Amen.
There you go.
That's it. So it took somewhere between 200 and 300 men,
Yep.
bishops, leaders of the church to come together in 325?
325 AD.
325 AD, come together. They wrote this creed, and they debated on the Trinity of God.
Yes. Was Jesus a created being, or is he part of the Godhead 3 in 1?
Yep.
So the arguments were, I would say, probably a little heated during that time.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're really breaking down like your entire faith right there. You either believe this or you don't.
And can you imagine 300 people from scattered out across the country coming together and agreeing on anything?
Well, I mean, what was crazy is that most of them did.
Yeah.
Now, there were some that were exiled because they wouldn't sign that creed.
Yeah.
There were some that were in that Arius kind of world there.
They were at the table, though.
Yeah.
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? They've got they had the chance to persuade.
I agree. I think that I would love to have that debate with somebody.
I believe you did.
Well, I'm getting there. I would like to have a good faith debate with that.
Yeah.
So we did our Jehovah's Witness episode, right?
Yep.
And we ruffled some feathers, we'll just say.
Easily
ruffled some collars.
Yes, people were not ruffled them. They had ruffled collars. I'm thinking of this time frame.
Yeah.
That medieval ruffled collar.
Why did they wear that? That doesn't
That
look
weird,
comfortable.
That was a weird fashion time frame.
Keeps
right
the
there.
bugs out. I don't know.
But
maybe
because we rustled the feathers or ruffled them or whatever, ruffled chips, they actually invited us numerous times to come on to a live stream.
On TikTok.
The
place where
only truth can happen.
Only truth and
healthy discussions.
Healthy discussions can happen.
And I went in thinking that I was going to be able to defend my thought process pretty well.
Particularly against what really
was
is
Jesus created.
Yeah.
I feel very strongly about what I believe in that.
Yeah.
I should have probably scoped out this a little better.
little recon. You just went straight Rambo.
I watched it for maybe 5 minutes, and they were actually talking about how Jesus came back in 1914 during that, right?
Okay.
So we discussed that in the Jehovah's Witness episode.
It's gonna be an easy slam dunk.
I was like, okay.
The false prophecy that never happened.
They were talking like, well, if you do the calculations from Daniel and then you look at what happened in 1914, it's clear. And I'm like, nope, gotcha. I was ready to jump in hot and heavy.
Yep. Skeet.
What I didn't know, you can't say that. What I didn't know is that they were waiting on me to jump into
They
this.
were
Like sharks in the water.
So I jump in. The conversation flips immediately.
Yep.
Not like, well, let
We're
me
gonna
finish this thought.
Yep.
None of that happened. It just jumped. Was Jesus created? I was like, okay, well, I'm still pretty confident. No.
Yeah.
Well, there were 5 people in this conversation, and there was one of me.
Yep.
So I was not able to get a word in at all.
Yeah.
And they were jumping from Corinthians to Deuteronomy and just picking one little verse from here and one verse from there. And it's not defendable when you are in that situation.
Yeah, because you can't get a word out.
You can't get a word out. And if you start to make a point, you're just hammered.
Didn't you get shut down completely on another episode or another live stream?
No.
Somebody kicked you out or
Mm-mm.
you never did get kicked out?
No, I never got kicked out. Because I feel like they felt pretty confident with me at that point.
Yeah.
They didn't want to kick me out because they were, I'm going to be honest, I got wore out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was not,
It's a 5-on-1 fight.
I did not defend
at their
myself
house.
well. I did come out at one point and go, hey guys, I feel like I've kind of walked in the lion's den and I'm getting just beat up.
Mm-hmm.
This is maybe a touch much. If we could hammer one spot.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, you've got to take it all as contact. They were, I mean, really hammering hard. So, but what that did do for me is
lit a fire under that boy.
It really did. If you know me at all, I like to be pretty well read on most things and have a general understanding of what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And I saw some deficiencies that I had in that situation.
Oh yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
I
Did you
get
comfortable in your? Did you get comfortable?
I think I did, and I got humbled.
Yeah.
I did get humbled in that because it was like I went into it with a confidence that I shouldn't have had to begin with. Not arrogance. I'm not going to say I was arrogant towards these people at all. I wasn't. But
so even if you could get a word in, you wouldn't properly equipped.
I think
as
it would
good
have
as you could have been.
As good as I could have been. No. Do I think that I could have made better points if it had been a good faith debate?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
But I was so scattered from one thing to the next that I didn't handle it as well as I could have.
Yeah.
So, like I said, this has lit a fire under me, which has led me to this conversation right here, the Council of Nicaea and Arianism, and kind of where a lot of their belief stems from.
Yeah.
And
I wonder, do Jehovah's Witnesses, do they harken back to Arius, or do they?
I don't know. I mean, if they do, it probably wouldn't be the smartest thing because Arius didn't go too well for him in this situation.
Yeah, I heard one Bible scholar describing it, and they said that the Council of Nicaea didn't completely wipe out Arianism.
No.
But it did slow it down, and then it did carry on past the Nicene Council, but it eventually died out.
Yeah.
But I disagree with that because of Jehovah's Witness.
1870, it popped again for sure.
And I'm wondering if it's because this concept, the Arianism concept, is not relatable or makes sense, but it's easy to digest.
It is. In the human perspective, if you're taking it as a human, yes, it is easy to understand what they believe.
Yeah.
Luckily, our God is not human. He did come in human form, but he is not a human.
Yeah, I put this one in the context of infinity. So, like, think about infinity. As humans, that's a super hard concept for us to pick up.
We can't wrap our brain around it.
We can't.
No beginning makes no sense to me.
Right. Everything in our world has a start. It has an end.
Yes.
I start writing this sentence. I stop writing this sentence. But there's nothing. There's no law, no world law, no physical law telling me I can't keep writing.
Yeah.
So I can put numbers on a piece of paper forever as long as I've got paper.
Yep.
So the thought that that's even a concept hurts. It's hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
So the triune God is kind of, to me, the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not of this world. It's not our.
It's
not how we live.
understanding.
There's nothing that can come from me and be equal to me.
Yeah.
So how can a God be that way? But that's not how it works.
You're getting into. I told you this ahead of time. I don't want a God that I can 100% understand.
No.
Because if I can completely understand it,
then you can be like,
then why
I'm
do I
him.
need it?
Yeah.
Then you'd be like, I could be that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I can understand 100% what it is, then like you said, I can be him.
Yeah.
I can be God at that point. I can be my own God at that point.
And we do find that in some of these cult religions.
We do.
Like Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons.
I don't think that Jehovah's Witnesses is necessarily claiming to be God. or that they can be gods. I don't think that that's where they're going there.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe some
Mormons for sure.
Mormons, that's really where they live.
Yeah.
And that's a big separation between them and Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
Is they believe that they're going to inherit the earth is what Jehovah's Witness, unless you're part of the anointed, which is the 144,000, which is going to heaven, which
is weird.
That's a whole other conversation we can have. So I'm kind of hesitant to even say this. I've been scoping out their live streams and taking notes of what their actual beliefs are, not just what I find on the internet about them.
Yeah.
And listening more than anything, and hanging back and trying to find defensible arguments for my side.
Yeah.
That not specifically for this group that reached out to us, but for when I actually do have one knock at my door, I can present this evidence in a way that is correct.
Yeah. And I think that's, I don't think you change anything going on TikTok.
No, nothing at all.
You can't go on TikTok on a live stream in their world where they're talking to each other.
They have a mute button. They can mute you.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just not going to happen. And you're not going to convince them otherwise because they're not going to they're not going to admit in front of their buddies.
No.
Dang, this guy might have a point.
Because then they're going to be disfellowshipped.
Oh, yeah.
And that's if they were to concede an inch towards what I say, then they're out.
They're getting called out at
the next Kingdom Hall meeting.
Yep.
They're out. So it was dumb for me to jump into that. I'll own that. I shouldn't have done it, but at the same time, it did humble me to a point of maybe I need to have better backing for what I believe.
Yeah. And I did find it interesting too that a big misconception about what happened at the Council of Nicaea was that they set the books of the Bible at that point.
Yeah, it had
which
nothing
was
to do with
not
that.
true.
Yeah.
And it's very easily verifiable.
Yeah.
Like I've pulled it up. You can look at what they talked about.
The itinerary.
The whole itinerary.
Yeah.
Which was a lot. Could you imagine? They were there for 6 months?
Was
5 or
it
6
that long?
months? Yeah, it was it was multiple months.
Well, I mean, they weren't only talking about the,
Creed or the
Trinitarian belief.
Yeah.
That, I mean, they were setting what the date of Easter was going to be and some of that kind of stuff too.
Yeah. And I did find it interesting. So it came, Emperor Constantine, who was emperor over the Byzantine Empire at the time. He was the first Christian emperor.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't make Christianity the first Roman religion, but he was openly Christian.
Yeah.
Part of the motive for having this council was he wanted to be seen in a good light by the bishops of his empire. So he decided to call them all in and kind of try to flesh out the Arian belief, because it was, at the time it was spreading, and it was spreading hot. But what it was doing was it was causing a split in the church.
Mm-hmm.
And Constantine didn't like that, so he wanted to bring everybody in and hash it out. From what I understood, he didn't have a belief either way. He was kind of neutral, but he wanted the smartest people in the country to come together and figure it out and bring the church together.
Yeah, and
so that was go
I want to say that what he was really saying is guys, we've been persecuted by everybody else this entire time. We're away from that now, and now we're just doing it to each other. We're doing it to each other. So maybe we should actually come to a consensus of what we believe, and ride that that train there.
Yeah,
and not just beat each other up over this topic.
Yeah, and it was hashed out for the most part. There were a lot that wasn't convinced, and they got exiled and kicked out.
Arius was exiled until 336, and they brought him back in.
Mm-hmm.
And the story goes, now who knows really, because we don't have an exact date of his death and when he was brought back in. The story goes that he died the day before he was reinstated.
Yeah.
In 336.
Yeah.
Now who knows? I don't know if that's real or not, but that's what they claim.
Yeah. Connor, you got any thoughts on this?
I mean,
not just the council itself, but I'm anxious to hear your thoughts on the triune God.
man, we were just mere men. And it's like, it took 300 men in 6 months to come to somewhat of a agreement.
And it wasn't even 100%.
Yeah. So it's like, if that doesn't speak the volumes of the mysteriousness of everything.
Yeah.
You had the smartest men who have been living in it since birth.
Yeah.
And persecuted for it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And they still, I mean, they came to an agreement, but we're still having issues coming to an agreement.
Mm-hmm.
It really shows that, like, you can't, like, overnight, like, it takes your whole life to figure out what the truth is.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, to really feel it and believe it and live it. And, yeah.
That's what I enjoyed the most out of this study was I didn't know. I didn't even know what happened.
Yeah.
I didn't know what happened at Nicaea.
No, you thought we were talking about Nazis.
I thought Nicaea was a phone brand.
Nazis and Nazis.
I don't know if we can say that on YouTube, by the way.
Nazis?
Yeah.
We have to bleep it?
Maybe.
Come on.
Ooh.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might get yeeted for that. I don't know.
We can edit it if we need to and re-release it.
Well, AI, they're making them every day.
Yeah.
It's true.
That is.
We were just, I hadn't released that short yet. We're talking about the
by the time that this
AI
is
being
released,
a
it will
Nazi.
be.
Yeah.
By the time this is released, it will be.
Yeah.
So.
Let's take a quick break.
Yeah.
What does the Watchtower have to say about all this?
The Watchtower would tend to agree with Arius.
Ugh. I'm sorry, Watchtower. That's not right.
Yeah. Maybe you're wrong. Never thought about that. Because if you take this verse at one side of the Bible and this verse at the other side of the Bible, and you mash them together, you're wrong.
You should go into a debate with that voice every time, like, they try to make a point, like, this is the Watchtower. We've got a new publication.
There is so much deeper problems with Jehovah's Witness than just this conversation. But this is their sticking point right here, man.
That's it.
Yeah.
You can't go into anything else with them.
That's what they lead with.
Yeah, this is where they're going.
You'd be like, so is Jesus just a dude? Is he just a guy?
No, he's created. Now, we don't know what from. We don't
Yeah.
have any of that.
Yeah.
He was created, and then we were all created afterwards. And if you add words in the Bible, absolutely, you can believe that. You can believe that if you want to. Like Colossians 1:15 through 17. You can add the word other 4 times, and it seems like you're right. Just saying. If you add the word other 4 times, which is not in the Greek.
This is a brain buster.
Not for me.
I mean, it's not, and you kind of mentioned it pre-show, like you can kind of get their side just because it's such a hard concept to wrap your mind around.
We're humans.
We are.
As humans, we, just like you said, with the not understanding eternity, because everything is finite in our life. But Jesus is not finite. He's not. He didn't have a beginning. He didn't have an end. If he did, then what was the point of his sacrifice?
Yeah.
So, anyway, but you know what you could sacrifice?
What's that?
A few dollars to shroudedrealities.com.
On Patreon.
Yeah. Or shroudedrealities.com where we
Send
have
$3
merch.
to represent the Trinity.
That's right.
Yeah.
$3 a month to represent the Trinity.
Patreon's probably the lowest cost.
Feels gross for some reason.
I know.
Don't do that.
It left my mouth, and I wanted to take it back.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Like brushing my tongue.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Dadgummit. I'm no better than the Catholic Church during that one time.
Shots fired. Okay.
Yeah, you can go to shroudedrealities.com, find links to all our social media, and tell us how dumb we are.
Yeah.
And tell us where we're wrong
We're
in
okay with
the
that.
spot. There's
Hey,
going to be a lot of people
if you want to
disagree.
debate, let's come on.
Come on.
We did enjoy the debate. I didn't like the one-sidedness of the Jehovah's Witnesses. They wouldn't.
We promise.
I was invited. Well, we're on the same social media, but I got
Yeah.
on and one of them's like, "Hey, go to jw.org and do some research for yourself." And I replied back, "I did," and we discussed it on this episode. Go listen to it.
Yeah. They never responded.
They never
to that.
listened to it.
No.
And
They sent us a thumbs up.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Never went.
Yeah, we promise to be as fair
I would
and as
love
true as possible.
I would love for you to come in one of us will moderate.
Yep.
And we can bring in a moderator if that would be beneficial to you coming in.
We'll have a shot clock, 30 seconds for each point.
I would allow whatever terms that you would like to set around that conversation.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's have our own council here. Let's have our own Nicene Council.
Ooh, the Shrouded Council.
The Shrouded Council.
Oh, I have a Shrouded Council, right? Or just a little mini version.
Yeah, I would. I mean, one of us, like I said,
Who's
can
Saint Nick?
moderate.
Yeah.
Who is Saint Nick?
He was at the. Oh, keep pointing because he looks like an elf.
What? No, I didn't say that.
Yeah, I did.
He did it.
That was hurtful,
Sorry,
Joey.
I'm so-
Dadgum.
I
Yeah.
apologize.
That was so.
Connor set me up. I had to.
It's okay.
Joe couldn't land if I didn't. Oh, goodness.
Hey, you know what everybody does need to do? I know
Yeah.
we've kind of we're in and out of this plug a little.
Yeah.
But go to Spotify.
Yep.
5-star review.
Click.
Subscribe.
That easy.
Leave a comment if you want to.
That's all you got to
Yep.
Tell us we're dumb.
Mhm.
That's fine. I don't
Mhm.
care. I mean, I would
I
actually love
agree.
it. You're right.
do. Sometimes I would agree.
Yeah. Sometimes I would agree.
I'm just a mere man.
I am. That's right. Go to YouTube. Do y'all know we are one away from 3 digits?
Gee.
Which represents.
Oh,
You better chill out.
Yeah.
the Trinity.
We are one away from 3 digits of subscribers. We just need one.
Just one. Somebody
Yeah.
go hit it if it
I would
happened
make
already.
another account just to subscribe, but I'm going to be
We're trying to be
fair.
legit.
and
Yeah.
I
true.
want to be legitimate.
Yeah.
So let's everybody show some love.
Just
Yeah.
go hit it.
Throw it in.
If you're the person that takes us to 100 on YouTube,
Yes.
we'll say thanks.
We'll send you a
We
thumbs
can do a
up.
shout out on the show.
How would we know who
We don't know who it
is?
is
Does it
because
not
it
send any-
doesn't
No.
I
tell
thought I
us.
sent an email to us.
Nah, it does if they're not set to private. Like there's a whole list of criteria for us to know who.
We got in
actually did
trouble
it.
last time we tried to do this.
Yeah, we did. That was on Facebook though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're one away on Facebook as well from being at 200.
I thought it was
Daggum.
300. I thought
No,
we were way up there. On
we're at
that.
199.
Yeah.
Okay.
I live in these analytics way too much.
Yeah. Seeing some growth. We got a lot of shorts going out right now, which is
We're
cool.
living in that.
Yeah.
That seems to be our bread and butter. People don't want to hear us talk for an extended period of time.
And that's fair.
You know
And
what
I
makes me feel
understand it.
gross about it?
What?
Because we're having to use AI to do it.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You think
else is
everybody
doing it.
everybody else is doing
Everyone
it?
else is doing it.
And would you rather pay someone to do it? Some guy in India, $7 a day.
No.
Just have AI do
That
it.
feels grosser.
Yeah, that feels grosser.
Is grosser a word?
Yeah.
I think it is.
Yeah.
It's like
more
funny. It's funnier.
more
is the word.
gross.
The grossest is,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Despicable.
Join us on Shrouded Realities where we say important things like grosser, more gross, grossest.
We debate the word gross.
We debate the word gross. There's your hook right there.
Yeah,
that's
and
that's how you start our
Speaking
episode.
of debates, I would debate about anything. I don't
Who's
care
that?
what
I
it
would
is.
too.
Debate who?
Anything. Anybody about anything.
Yeah, I think it's
Whatever their stance is, I will debate the other end just to debate.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's have a debate episode.
I don't know. I'm fearful of it.
That'd be
I
a
always
funny.
feel like
That'd be
coming
a
in-
funny episode. We pick a random topic and you have to defend.
We could debate each other.
We can debate. I'm saying we pick a random topic, flip a coin. You get one side, I get the other.
Tomato,
and then,
tomato.
and then one moderator. We
And just
debate
stand
it,
by it.
and it would be hilarious.
It'd need to be funny stuff, though.
It would have to be funny stuff.
What would the subject be?
That's what I'm saying. We'd have to just put it in a spin wheel and just run it.
That's a good
Like, is-
idea.
Yeah.
And let's
it's-
not study at all.
Like
Yeah.
it's
Just
Santa.
really
Yeah, it's
lock
off the
in.
top.
Is Santa real? Is Santa not real?
Yeah, I mean basic stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just
Did we go
Is
to the
grilled
moon?
cheese
Did we
a
not go to the
sandwich?
moon?
there you go.
That's a good one because I'm
Is a
like,
hot
I'm
dog
talking. I'm
sandwich?
talking even simpler.
Is a
Yeah.
hot dog a sandwich? Is that
Yeah.
what?
That's a good one. It's
That
hot
is a
dog a
good-
sandwich. Between two
Leave
pieces
that
of
in the
bread.
comments.
Does the thickness of bologna matter?
Does the shape of the bologna matter?
How do you spell bologna?
Well, that's-
BOLOGNA.
That's pretty
That's weird.
verifiable.
Bologna.
That's
That's
Why don't
pretty
we pronounce it bologna then?
English.
English.
Bologna. English.
Because
English
vowels.
language sucks.
it does. It's tough.
So that's a debate. Is the English language superior or not?
No, it's not. It's
I think it is.
I
Oh.
disagree with you on
Yeah.
that, actually.
Oh,
Even if we do have one word that means 5 different things, so does everything else. So
Yeah.
yeah. What was the homo word in the Nicene Creed? That
homoousius.
Euseus. I'm
I think.
impressed that you learned that. You think? you
I
said,
said
it so
I'm surprised
confidently.
with a southern twang you could say it.
Homoousius?
Homoousius.
Euseus.
Yeah, I mean,
can't
I
even
can
say it.
confidently say homoousius.
But what does it mean?
Say it 10 times fast.
Homoousius. No, I'm not.
I got him.
I'm going to end up saying something
Yeah.
I shouldn't say.
I'm afraid
Basically,
to
what
type-
it
I'm afraid to put this in the search bar. What does homo?
you're going to get
Ousius.
pop-ups of things you shouldn't get. Don't point it towards
There
the
it is.
camera.
Yeah.
Homoousius.
It's a Greek word,
Greek
right?
term meaning of the same substance or of one being.
There you go.
In Christian theology, it's used to describe
So
the
we would
relationship
believe
between
that.
God the Father and
Yeah.
God the Son.
We are homoousius.
Ism.
Yeah, ists.
Ists.
Yeah, so
Homoousius.
That doesn't sound any better.
So that word was like a hot topic debate in the
trying to remember what was the opposing word. It wasn't homo.
yeah.
Maybe it was hetero.
Heterousius.
Heterousius. I don't know.
Hey, homos were derived from the
better
from the
chill
word
out.
homo,
Yeah.
also meaning same. I said that wrong. The word
Homo is derived from the word homo.
I read it wrong. The word is derived from homo, which also means same, and ousius meaning being, substance, or essence.
That actually does make sense. I mean, being same, you can use that in other contexts as well.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. I don't know.
Yes, we would be homoousiists.
Just a room full of homoousius.
Yeah, just three homoousiists talking about it.
But part of the debate was that word's not in the Bible at all.
Yeah.
There's a lot of words that aren't in the Bible.
Like a bunch.
It's
There's
true, but they're trying to set up the idea, the thought of the Trinity.
Yeah.
Using that word.
Okay.
Trying to explain Jesus' connection to God.
John 10:30. There you go.
Yeah. What's it say?
I and the Father are one.
There you go. Too easy.
That's like
Done.
Soft.
So
that's kindergarten.
moving on.
That's kindergarten level.
Uh-huh.
It's like of
Don't
course he
bring-
made it that simple.
don't-
Make it for
Don't bring that up to a Jehovah's Witness,
Yeah.
just so you know.
Do you think at the Nicene, the Council of Nicaea, do you think that somebody
did.
walked in there and did that and just like bam,
Hey,
here it is.
have y'all read John?
This is why we're here.
Y'all read through John yet? Because
Yeah.
where he says right there, we're one.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they would go into a long argument about this.
Yeah.
And their argument would be like, well, when you and your wife are married, then you were one. So then, I mean, it's a manipulation
Yeah.
of it. They did the same thing with Colossians.
Did they do a lot of yeah buts? Because I feel like that happens a lot
absolutely.
with
Absolutely.
debates about different denominations. Is yeah, but
Yeah,
you
no,
know,
that's what it is.
sure the Bible says this, but it says this, and then they lean towards the other thing. It's
Yeah.
like no, it's yeah, and like they're both in there, and you've got to understand both of them. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
I mean, one of their sticking points, and this is one thing that I didn't have an answer for, and I would like, if you do have a Jehovah's Witness knock on your door,
Mhm.
have this context. Colossians 1:15. The Son is the image of the invisible God. Okay, so he's the image of it, right?
Yep.
The firstborn over all creation. That's the hang up.
the firstborn.
The firstborn.
So if he's the first in their eyes, the first, if because it says he's the firstborn, that means he was created
Correct.
at a time which makes him separate from God.
We're going to ignore the fact that they're also, if you want to take in literal terms what that says,
Yep.
that means he had to have been birthed.
Yep.
Because he was born.
Created. Yep.
So if he was, who birthed him? So there's a whole conversation in that as well that you could have. They're not going to have that. But firstborn has different context in the
Yep.
Bible. So firstborn to us right now would mean I am the firstborn of my mother and father.
That's right.
I was born first.
You're the first child.
That's what that means.
Yep.
To us. And to Jehovah's Witness. That's what that means.
That's what they think.
In the context of the time, firstborn is your status. That is your inheritance. You are the preeminent, we'll just say, of your family.
And doesn't Daniel prove that?
Well,
Because Daniel David. That's David.
David would.
David was called the firstborn,
He was.
even though
And
he was like the
the
ninth child.
He was the youngest of 8.
Yeah.
They won't let you go there, by the way. They
Really?
won't let you have that conversation. I didn't have it then. I didn't
Yeah.
have that context of like, oh, well, David was, they won't let you go there. But firstborn in Colossians does not mean that he was birthed first.
Yeah.
It's not what that means.
Now,
Now,
like, Jesus was born in space and then
So,
floated down the earth.
I tried to break it down into the Greek. I tried to prototokos. That's what that means. In that context, prototokos does not mean that he was born. There is another word that means he was born first, and that tiktos, I think, was what that was in the
You
Greek.
better watch it.
Yeah.
You're about to get kicked out of the Three Idiots group because
you're
sounding
look,
pretty smart right now.
Yeah, I'm saying words. Can we raise our IQ level? Yeah, I can read words that make me sound smarter.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that I
Know what
do.
that
I have
means.
to.
I can sound out Latin.
Yeah, I can proto-tiktos. I can say things like that.
Speaking of, I really need to know consubstantial.
Consubstantial.
Consubstantial with the Father. That was the word that I
Wow.
couldn't pronounce in the creed.
Ooh.
Consubstantial.
I was thinking it was gonna be a harder word than that.
I was really anticipating something like Greek.
Like yeah.
But can you tell me what it means, though, smarty britches?
Consubstantial.
Yep.
It still doesn't.
Don't
sound like
look
a
it
real-
up.
No,
There's two. It's a two. You got substantial was important, and then con, which is
Consubstantial definition
What's con?
of the same substance or
Yeah.
essence. So that's the homo whatever.
homoousius.
Ousius.
The homo whatever. I think
Okay,
so.
so
yeah.
that was the
Definitely
word
need
that
to finish
was
that word out.
Yeah.
You can't just say the
Can't say
homo
homo?
whatever.
that was the word that was the
It's a very
hot-
key. It's a very key word in
It
that
is.
whole thing. Yeah.
it is.
Uh-huh.
To me though it doesn't. To me there's no controversy of the essences being of the same thing.
Sure.
So I don't understand them say, "Oh, see, look, it's separate." But
Well,
and again, that's not even biblical. That's not a biblical definition or description of the Trinity.
no.
So
And I think that the other side would get locked up in using your mind to try to understand what this means.
yeah,
I don't understand it 100%.
Mm-mm.
I won't on this side of heaven. I don't believe that I will.
yeah,
Granted, they don't believe we're going there,
yeah.
but yeah.
To me, this conversation and this study is super, super important
It is.
for all Christianity. I mean, like, you need to understand why you believe what you believe.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I first got into this, I got a little frightened. I was like, oh, crap. Is my whole thought process behind what I believe based off of what happened with these 300 some odd dudes
Sure.
in Turkey almost 2,000 years ago?
Mm-hmm.
But from what I gathered through the study is these guys didn't set that standard.
They're just affirming what was presented
Exactly.
in the
Yeah.
Bible.
They were just affirming and nailing down what was already presented and what was already
Whoa.
being believed.
So Arianism and Trinitarian it predated this conversation
Yeah.
in the Council of Nicaea by an extended, for a while.
Yeah.
This predated that completely. All this was nailing in like, okay, you believe this, what is actually true
Yeah.
between these two things? That's
Yeah.
all it was.
Do you think this was like the first, I guess you can say, split with denominations? Because like we have a ton of different denominations now that all call themselves Christian.
I'm not familiar enough with church history to give you that answer.
Yeah.
I hope to end up that.
And that's why I wanted to do those.
I think this is very interesting,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
least to me. I like
Oh, yeah.
knowing the history of that kind of
That's
stuff.
why I wanted to do the denomination spin wheel, where we just
Presbyterian.
Presbyterian, and then go over the history of it.
Yeah, I would
Yeah.
like to know that too, and
Yeah.
why do they believe what they believe,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
really dig into those things.
I think
And-
the word Trinitarian is really cool, and I just
It does sound cool.
want to call myself that now. I'm a Trinitarian.
Well, you are.
Yeah,
I mean,
say yeah.
you
Would
technically
it be
are.
heresy to say that instead of Christian?
No,
Is it the same?
Same.
All right, then I'm going with that. Yeah, I'm Trinitarian.
Yeah.
That's it makes me sound Latin. It makes me sound. You know what I mean?
well, the
that's a
Christian
metaphor,
faith,
Yeah.
the Christian Orthodox as a whole would claim Trinitarian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Orthodox would claim that.
yeah,
So it doesn't nail into what you
right.
believe 100%. You believe that God is in three persons,
Yeah,
but yeah, most I'm not even going to say most, because there are people that don't believe that. Other than just Jehovah's Witnesses, there are other people that believe that.
Yeah.
I think that the scripture would bear that differently, but that's just me. Because we hadn't even touched Holy Spirit yet. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Of what is the Holy Spirit, because they don't.
Was that debated in this?
They don't agree what we believe. I don't know it 100%. I've been
not
living
Jehovah's
more on
Witnesses, but the Nicene Creed. Did they talk about that?
I don't believe so. I'm sorry, guys. I do have a cold. So if y'all having to listen to me cough and hack, and I'm trying my best not to, but.
Speaking of last week, Steven, last minute had to pull out of the show, couldn't show up. We had to wing the audio and all the engineering things that he does. And
and it went bad.
I screwed it up.
Horrible.
Yeah,
we still got an episode to release. Hopefully, I'll figure that out this afternoon. But
we'll get it out. It's fine. There may be some awkward moments where he's talking and they're in the Watchtower voice and it didn't work.
I tried to do Watchtower.
We might
voice.
try to edit that in later, an after edit of the Watchtower. I actually kind of want to record that after this of me doing it, and you can dub it over.
Yeah.
I think that would be hilarious.
That would be bad.
Of where you're trying to do it, and
because there's got to be some exclamation. Because I'm talking in my regular voice, and I'm doing this thing, and I'm trying to be this character, but it's not going to come off.
Like Joey.
But I'm just going to be me being an idiot.
So what we could do is we could pan in and out of that audio of you, and then me on the other side of that, just laughing
Making
at you,
fun of you.
as the Watchtower.
I think that's the only way we save it.
Yep.
I think that would be hilarious, actually.
Yep.
So. Do we have more? I mean, there is more. There could be more to have this conversation. I do want to expound upon this as we go along. We kind of want to get away from the government side of our conspiracies.
Yes.
Joey is having a mental breakdown.
Yep.
And Connor maybe too. I don't know.
It's constant.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what it is.
I feel like I'm immune to those because I've been living in that for such an extended period.
Yeah,
of
it gives me
time.
comfort knowing there's conspiracy out there.
Yeah, I actually like it.
I don't, man. I almost quit the show, and it was of all things the contrail.
The main thing that you did the show for.
The contrail episode.
The concept of it.
But the contrail. I was studying contrail stuff, and I'm like, I don't know what to believe, and my mind just could not stop. I just didn't trust anybody or anything.
Well, I do want to get away from some of those that are like the easy pickoffs. You know what I mean? Like the Bigfoots and those are like
flat Earth
expected.
I'm
not doing it. I think that's dumb. I'm out of that. I've been in an airplane before. Sorry, it's round.
We did have some pretty epic revelations in, no pun intended, in the contrail episode.
I haven't listened to it yet. I'm excited to listen to that episode.
You need to listen to it because it went way different than I thought it would. And Connor broke my mind at the end. I thought.
And I'm just fine. He's breaking down over here.
I'm over here just freaking out.
Because, okay, we can discuss what is real and what's not real. And is there a greater conspiracy for all these things? There's nothing I can do about it other than just inform you of what it is.
Yeah. Well, Connor did save me from quitting, and my wife did too. Get back to the biblical stuff, which is kind of what the genesis of the show was
no pun intended.
Nephilim, no pun intended again. Nephilim, and just breaking down what that is in the Bible. And he's like, "Hey, let's get back to that." And this week has been a ton better on me.
Yeah,
I can say easily, because this is a lot more fun and meaningful.
Plus, while we do this, we can build up our backlog of new conspiracies that we can get into down the road.
And then get my mental health back in place, and then break it again later.
Yeah, that's right, baby.
That's what I'm thinking.
That's how your bones get stronger.
That's right. Yeah, you got to get the microfractures and just let it heal and get stronger, and then I'd be a conspiracy theory beast once it's over.
That's right. You're just going to be shredded.
I don't know if you want to say
conspiracies.
You want to say that?
Yeah.
Well, we could be shredded realities.
We could be.
Yeah, I got to work on that.
I'm not there.
We got to get
I've been
that
sick.
logo.
I've been sick for 2 weeks.
We got to get that logo.
And I'm still not better. I really wanted to hit the gym, but I know that I'm just going to be in a puddle of whatever this is by the time I'm done. So I haven't done it.
What's having that seed right there?
Don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Just a glob of goop.
It's just not. Sorry, Mom. Let's wrap it up.
Should we?
Let's just
You think we need
Let's
to?
hit it.
I really feel like we did not lock in on a good mic drop. But
yeah, we was looking for it.
Yeah, we were there.
We were looking for it. We were on the the hunt.
You know what? They can't all be there. You
Nah.
can't have every one of them that way because then people would expect it.
No.
It's more fun when you just hit that one, though.
Say the mic drop in this one is we want everyone to go do your own research.
We do.
Because there's
with anything.
With everything. Because there's a lot of good information out there.
Yeah.
There is.
That can make you think and help guide your thoughts.
Don't walk into a discussion unprepared.
Or do it. It led to some good things with you.
Actually,
I'm glad you did it.
Maybe it was a good thing.
I'm glad you did it.
Yeah.
Anyway, thanks for listening. Thanks for coming along with our stream of consciousness, and do your own research and come up with your own. That's all I got to say.
That's it.
Take it
Stephen,
easy.
Connor, Joey, and Ruby the podcast dog, thanks for listening.
That was fast.